up? How you guys doing? Roland McCullough family and Gator Nation. I have a special guest from Statham and Gale, Mr. Dan Thompson. How you doing today, Mr. Thompson?
Good, Carlos. Thanks for having me.
My first question to you is, why do you think the administration waited so long to get rid of Billy Napier when we knew it was going to happen? They could have done it the first bye week.
I think that they were holding out maybe some hope that some things could potentially change. Obviously, they didn't. You're going to have to pay the money regardless. And, firing the coach now, how much does it impact this season? Is there still a chance that, after the bye week, you get DJ Lagway healthy a little bit more? Maybe some things change. Obviously, they didn't. I think that Florida's been probably ready to move on from Billy Napier since the USF game.
Do you think they've been doing a coach search since last year, or is it just started recently when USF happened?
No, I think that they started looking last year and started vetting names last year. And obviously Florida went off to rattle off some wins to end the year and end with a respectable record. And I think that there was some hope that Billy Napier would hire an offensive coordinator. And, I think that they asked a few people to come on board to be an offensive coordinator, but I think Billy Napier still wanted to call plays. So they were unsuccessful in bringing an offensive coordinator over. And then obviously what we saw this season, as well as a culmination of the last 3 years before that, the offense just didn't work out. And, I think that is, ultimately the bed that Billy Napier's got to lie in, as he ends his career at the University of Florida. But they've been in earnestly talking and vetting, and they've been in the process for more than 2 days now.
And in terms of a list, is it very short, or are we going to have a long list? Like, let's say, when they fired Ron Zook, and it was just a long list of because I cried when Steve Spurrier decided to retire, and we ended up with Ron Zook.
Yeah, no, the list will never be made completely public. I will say this, that from some sources that I have, Florida's probably narrowed their search into to 4 names right now. So whatever happens will be an announcement that Florida hired the coach that they wanted. You're never going to get a full and complete list until that person is offered a job and that person accepts a job. So in a few months, when Florida announces their head coach, they'll tell you they only went after one person. And I'll tell you that Florida's doing research on about 4 right now.
Okay. Is it Lane Kiffin or bust?
It depends on who you talk to. From a fan's perspective, potentially. There's no coach right now that is surefire at the University of Florida. They all come with their flaws. Lane Kiffin has some flaws on the defensive side, in recruiting, in winning some of the big games that fans want. Marcus Freeman has some flaws, even down to James Franklin or Eli Drinkwitz. You could name any potential coach that's out there, and they're all going to come with flaws. So it really depends on what you want. I think that Lane Kiffin's personality and attitude fit well at the University of Florida. I think that he's a guy that very much respects the role at the University of Florida. And I think that Florida has interest in Lane Kiffin. So whether it happens or not, there's a lot of things that can happen in a job search, in a coaching search. There's positions that are not open now that will be open. There's a lot of cards and dominoes that could fall. So Florida's going to have to move relatively quickly, because I don't think that Florida's the only school that is potentially a suitor for Lane Kiffin.
Is Marcus Freeman a realistic option B?
Potentially. Marcus Freeman's from Ohio, went to Ohio State, has a great job at Notre Dame. I know a booster of Notre Dame very well. I've known him for 12 years now. And I don't think that Notre Dame is going to let Marcus Freeman go quietly if another school approached him. He did just sign a new contract this offseason, of which it's not public, not only how much he's making, but what his buyout is. So is it realistic? As potentially as realistic as some other names? but you just don't know what entices somebody to make a move always. And there could be a variety of things beyond just money about why somebody might make a move. I'm personally a huge fan of Marcus Freeman, and he would be number one on my theoretical list.
And what's your theoretical short list? If you were a Scott Strickland, who is coming to University of Florida?
I am going to just read off the list that I put out because I think that that's fair, and any additional information is probably not fair to sources. But my list that I put out yesterday was Lane Kiffin, Marcus Freeman, Eli Drinkwitz, Kenny Dillingham, Brent Key, and Rhett Lashley.
Is there? I'm gonna ask this question because the fan base is living in fairy tale land. Is there another Urban Meyer somewhere on that list? Urban Meyer-esque?
That depends, right? Urban Meyer was able to attract a great staff. He was able to retain most of his talent. Urban Meyer was a coach that, had a pretty quick succession in his head coaching career. He went from Bowling Green for a couple years to Utah for a few years to Florida. And obviously he did well at Utah, and a lot of fans were excited that he came on board. But Urban Meyer was no sure thing. There was question marks whether the spread offense would work in the SEC at the time. I think any coach has their flaws. And, is there a potential national championship winning coach on that list? Absolutely. And I think multiple coaches on that list could win a national championship at Florida. It's just a matter of college football's changed a ton since Urban Meyer left the University of Florida, or even since Urban Meyer left college football in general. So, but I do think on that list of names, there is a coach that could win a national championship, but Urban Meyer is going to go down as one of the greatest coaches in college football history. I don't know if any of these coaches can hold that candle, but I'm not saying that they couldn't do very, very well in their own right.
Did you get to see the press conference from Scott Strickland or no?
No, I read. I was in a meeting with a client today. During the meeting, I got to read the transcript of it, and it makes sense. I think that they know that they have an opportunity to maybe change their approach and change the style. And I think that they have a lot of support from the boosters. I think certain coaches would certainly create a lot of excitement in the fan base and in the boosters if one of those coaches was hired. I think that Scott Strickland is going to be, and I'm trying to be careful with my words here. I think Scott Strickland is going to be.
That's why I was trying to be careful with the questions too.
Yeah, no, I think that Scott Strickland is going to have other help beyond the search firm. Like, put the search firm to the side. Like, don't think about them in terms of help. I think that there's going to be other people involved at the University of Florida that help with this search, and I think that Florida is going to do everything that they can to bring the coach that they want to the University of Florida.
If Lane Kiffin is the next coach at Florida, how much are we looking at his contract, and in terms of length also?
No comment. I think that you're probably looking in the 90. I think you're going to be looking total package for the whole coaching staff over $100 million.
Oh, okay. And can we expect the next coach to bring some of his staff and request that some of his staff come over? Or is he going to have to create staff when he gets here?
Yeah, I think anybody that you bring over is going to certainly carry over some people. Personnel, a lot of off the field folks will probably join. A lot of your administrative structure in recruiting and, player personnel, player ops, football ops, that kind of stuff. You can certainly imagine that. I think it depends on the coach. Florida would be very much an upgraded school from maybe where they're at now, that there's a chance for them to bring, over some of their staff, maybe not all of their staff. I think that there's going to be I think there's going to be a lot of questions about who might come over and what that staff could look like. And I also wouldn't be surprised if Florida does something different and maybe brings in a coach, and then goes and allows that person to make some, but not all of the hires. And maybe, I floated around this idea. What if Florida brought on an offensive head coach and then they went and hired, a G5 head coach to be a DC and pay them more? I think Florida wants some dissension amongst the coaching staff. I think that they want some outside perspective. I think that this current staff has a lot of people that all beat to the same drum. And while chemistry is important, a lack of dissension can really hurt the team. And I think that that's what you're seeing now.
If Lane Kiffin's not the coach, can we expect the coordinator to get a shot at being a head coach, or are they looking for someone with a big name, a big splash?
I think they're looking for a head coach with head coaching experience that they can sell to the fan base. That's where I would be looking right now.
And is Dirk, the head coach at Missouri, a realistic shot if Lane Kiffin does not fall through?
I think that Eli Drinkwitz is a coach that has a good record and has overachieved at Missouri.
Yeah. Do you think he has the talent to be at a top tier SEC school? Because Missouri, to me, in my opinion, I could be wrong, they're level 2. We're level 1.
Yeah. A lot of it depends, right? There's no, a lot of people thought that Hugh Freeze would kill it at Auburn. And obviously that's not the case, even though he was very successful at Ole Miss. There's a lot of coaching that goes beyond just whether they're a particular fit. I think that Eli Drinkwitz is a coach that could do well at the University of Florida. I think that it's an easier sell recruiting wise. I think he's got a bigger talent base to recruit from. I also think his ability to hire head coaches or assistant coaches, would be greater at the University of Florida than they are at Missouri. I would watch out for Penn State for Eli Drinkwitz as well.
Another question, I'm going to ask it because Gator Nation asked it. Is James Franklin a realistic option for the Florida Gators?
In terms of, do they want him, or
might there be mutual interest from both parties?
I think that James Franklin is interested in the University of Florida head coaching job.
Okay. Guys, there you got your answer about James Franklin, because I see it all the time on X.
Yeah.
And any potential offensive coordinator information you may have?
No, I think it really depends, whether you hire, a more offensive head coach or more defensive head coach. You're still early on in the process. Florida's not going to announce a head coach in the next 5 weeks. I don't see that happening. Things could change. I just don't necessarily see it happening before Thanksgiving, and it might not even be until after that. I think that Gator fans just need to rally behind Billy Gonzalez, Ryan O'Hara, DJ Lagway, the rest of the guys, Dallas Wilson, and this is an opportunity for them to have fun for the rest of the year. I think that you're going to see some changes in the way that the offense is run. Maybe not seismic changes, but I do think you see some changes, and hopefully that means some improvement. Billy Gonzalez is a guy that I got the chance to know pretty well when I was a student at the University of Florida working in the recruiting office, and he's a great guy that I think deserves the opportunity to lead this team. He's very well respected in the industry, and who knows, it could be an opportunity for him to maybe get an OC job this offseason, or maybe stick around for the next coach, or certainly get that next opportunity. But I think for now, there will be some information that leaks out. Certainly the first couple days will have the most, and then it might be silent for a couple weeks. I just don't want people to think that nothing's happening behind closed doors. And like I said, a lot of this stuff can change pretty quickly. It doesn't necessarily mean that if Florida wants a guy and that guy is interested now, that if another opportunity that doesn't that is not currently open opens up, that person might not be interested in that job. There's going to be a lot of dominoes, I think, that fall. I think that there are a lot of coaches that are coaching at schools right now that could be potentially looking to leave their school, some for upgrades, some for better culture fits and better destination for them. But I still think that we're a long way away of knowing what the full coaching carousel looks like right now. And I think that that's why Florida got ahead of it a bit.
I agree. Going back to Billy G, do you think Billy G wants to stay here? To me, he's a through and through Gator. He's been here 3 times over 12 years.
Yeah, I think again, it depends on, what coach you hire. I think that Billy Gonzalez would be a great addition to any staff. I think that he's one of the better wide receiver coaches in the country. I think that he's great at developing. He's put Elijah Badger, Shim DK, a number of guys, just over the last few years into the NFL. He helped recruit Dallas Wilson and Vernell Brown III, who are your 2 best playmakers on offense right now. I think that there's an opportunity, for him certainly to stay and potentially having some connection to some of the offensive guys, under a new coach might make sense. But again, it's too early to tell. But, I think of any of the position coaches that are at the University of Florida right now, I think that he's definitely one that probably deserves it the most.
I'm going to ask this for Gator Nation. I don't think it's realistic. Is former DC Strong a possibility to come back to Florida?
No.
There you have it, guys.
In what capacity? I mean, certainly not as a head coach. I mean, he's probably on the tail end of his career. He's coaching now in the NFL. He's coaching for the Bucs, who are playing right now. I think he's got a good spot there. He's made a ton of money between Louisville, Texas, and USF. Do you want to go back and recruit and do all that? So no, I think that Charlie Strong is a great Gator, an incredible person, but I think he's going to probably ride into his coaching career in the NFL, and I don't blame him. He's got a 5-1 team right now.
Yes, I asked that simply because I saw it on X. Someone asking, bring Strong as DC.
Yeah,
guys, the game has changed over the past 20 plus years.
Yeah, I don't see Charlie Strong coming back. Urban Meyer's not coming back. There's a lot of names that are floated around. Kerwin Bell is not on the short list. Jed Fish is, I don't think, going to come to the University of Florida. So a lot of these big, these names that are connected with UF because they went to school here or coached here before, I don't see them coming back to the University of Florida.
If you were to put a percentage on it, if you're able to, let me know if you're able to or not. What are the possibilities DJ stays or DJ goes to Baylor?
I think it's too early to tell. You really have to decide who the next head coach is. I think DJ Lagway really likes Gainesville. I think that he really likes the University of Florida. I think he's well respected here. And, the big question is whoever you hire next, is that the quarterback that they want too, right? There's a lot to figure out, but right now it's probably too early to tell. I will tell you that DJ Lagway does really like the University of Florida. He likes Gainesville, and if he has the opportunity and the coach matches up with him, I think that there's a strong chance that he ends up here. But again, depending on who you hire as the head coach, maybe they have somebody else in mind, or they might bring somebody with them, or might be able to attract somebody. And that might not be an advantageous situation for DJ. It all really depends on him and the coach and making that decision over the next couple months.
Could we expect the legacy kids to stay here, or could we see them jump?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's all dependent, but I think depending on the coach, depending on the system, I know Vernell Brown, Miles Graham, Ben Hanks, they really like the University of Florida. They really like Gainesville. Obviously, they committed to Florida when Florida wasn't doing too hot. And, I think that there's more to it than just who the head coach is. I think that they understand it's a business. And I think that there's a chance that they'll probably be here. But it's really too early to opine on any particular player without knowing who that next head coach is and whether that next head coach wants them. Now, obviously, those 3 names are guys that probably any coach in America would want on their team. But, again, there's a lot that goes into it over the next 8 weeks.
I can't think of his name, but I'll tell you the school and you'll be able to tell me. Is the Utah coach on the short list?
Kyle, no.
Whittingham, I think it is.
Yeah, Kyle Whittingham. I don't think so. No. I think that he's fine at Utah, comfortable at Utah. A little bit older in his career. He took over when Urban Meyer left in 2005. So, he's had a long, illustrious career at Utah, and I can't imagine him making a jump. And I don't know about overall fit or anything else either. I think that he's happy, comfortable, and can ride off as a Utah Utes legend.
Another question from that I saw on X, so I gotta ask it. I pretty much have an idea of the answer. Is John Gruden on the short list?
No.
There you go, guys. You guys keep harping John Gruden. I don't think he's coming to college.
I don't think he's on any college coach or college AD lists at all.
I see it all the time on X.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. Any final thoughts? And I appreciate you for coming on. It was a quick short because these are questions that I've had in my mind and I've seen on X.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, Carlos. Thanks so much for having me on. I think for Gator fans, just be patient. There's going to be a lot of news that comes out. There's going to be a lot that changes, and just stay tuned. But for now, continue to support the Gators. You have a bye week to try to get things right, and then you have Georgia, and then you have kind of the back half of the schedule, which is shaped up to be a bit easier than the front half of the schedule. So you hope for the guys to go and do well, and you need 3 wins in your next 5 to make a bowl game. So I think that it's certainly possible, and it'd be great to send the guys off with a bowl game and an opportunity to play in a bowl game. So go ahead.
No, finish.
No. And so, that's all I would say is it's very, very hard for the players to, I'm sure many of them were ready, for change, but they're also the guys on the team that have developed relationships with these staffers and, with their other players. And obviously they know that they're not meeting expectations, and another thing too, is like Billy Napier's fine, right? He's going to make $10.5 million by this time next month.
Yes.
You don't have to feel bad for him. I feel bad that it didn't work out. I genuinely think he cares about the game and about the players. I do feel for a lot of the staffers, many of whom that are not making very much money, working very long hours, that are going to have to pick up and move. And that's tough. A lot of them are young in their career, young kids, young families trying to figure out and navigate the game of football. So, certainly feel for those individuals as well. But, now is a new opportunity for Scott Strickland and for this athletic department and university to make some changes that hopefully lead to some championships again for the Florida Gators.
Do you think the administration is really going to pick up the phone and call Marcus Freeman and get that no? Because my feeling is he wants to go back to the only place he would go to if he leaves Notre Dame is Ohio State.
Yeah. No comment.
Okay. There you guys have it. Thank you very much. I'll have him. I'll try to get him back on the show anytime, but after we get a coach in-house to get some more information, guys.
Thanks so much, Carlos. I appreciate it. Thanks for
always, go Gators, guys.
Go Gators.
Thank you very much. Follow him at Stadium and Gale. They're an awesome channel. Thank you very much, Dan.